Yeah, very good morning to all of you. In this semester, we're having a course. The name of the course, it is an compiler design. Compiler design is our course. And here I'm going to deal this course compiler design in this semester, and myself Nagadipti Panaganti, assistant professor CSE department and in Sachia Reddy College of Engineering. And here what I am going to deliver in this class is to briefly introduce what the compiler is. Brief introduction about the compiler design. And here I'm having some of the contents. And what I want to share in this class is the first content is about the introduction about the compilers. And second content is about why should we study the compilers and what is the need of studying these compilers. And the third one is about course description of our course, briefly describing about the course. And the next one is about the course objectives, and the next one is about the course outcomes. And here introducing about the course, that is a compiler or compiler design. Compiler design is the name of our course. Compilers, basically we all know the word translator. I think so you all know the word translator, and the definition of the translator is nothing but I'm translating from one language to the another language. For example, I want to translate high level language to the machine level language. I will use some types of translators. In the types of translators, I am choosing here compiler is a type of an translator. Why? Because compiler came from the family of the translator family, translating from one language to another language. What it means is we all know, we are all very much familiar with executing the programs. We know how to execute the program. And what is the process of executing the program? Process of executing the program in the sense how we are getting the output of the program by giving the input. By giving the input, we will getting an output. And are we are getting we are all not directly executing the program. What we are doing before executing the program, before knowing what the output of a program is, first what we are doing is, first the most important thing, compilation. Doing compilation, and after performing the compilation by giving the command, we are getting some, if the program consisting of any errors, you will get some errors. So what we are doing after knowing what type of an errors are those and rectifying those, and again we are doing the compilation, and then finally we are executing the program and getting the output. And here what the input is and what the output is depending, totally depending on the given whatever we are executing the program. It's our program. In any type of an programming language, the process of compilation is overall process of compilation, whatever we are doing is in such a way process. So the first initial basic thing about the compiler is compilers are basically the translators. And you all should note down that compilers are basically the translators, because it came from the family of a translator family, translating from one language to the another language. And here the next one, how what is the process of designing a compiler, and is it possible to design the compilers? Is it possible to design any type of an compilers? And for that type of an question, we're having an answer is, designing a compiler for some language is a very complex, so and time consuming process. So for that purpose, since we're having some new tools for writing the compilers, where those are all available, and this process has now become very sophisticated activity, And while studying the subject like a compiler, it is necessary to understand the first basic thing is what is a compiler. Compilers are basically the translators. Compilers translates from one language to another language. It may be an high level language or high level language as an input and machine level language as an output. Whatever the languages that we are taking, that comes from the language processing system. From the language processing, we are defining if my input program is a high level language, then what type of an output program that I need to execute. These are all we are deciding from the language processors, depending on the type of a compiler what we are going to design. And the most important thing is how the process of compilation can be carried out. Process of compilation can be carried out. What is the way of process of compilation is going to be carried out? Here in our course compiler design, we're having the most important concept like an various phases of compilers. And after learning, after knowing, and after getting some knowledge about the various phases of compilers, then we can clearly understand how the process of compilation can be carried out by giving the input and by getting the output. By giving the input and by getting the output, in between the process of compilation can be carried out. And here in this chapter, we will get introduced with the basic concepts of the compilers. And we are having basic concepts of compilers and what is a compiler and what is a translator, how many types of translators that we are having, and compiler cousins of the compilers, and what are the construction tools that we are using to design the compiler. If I want to design any type of an compiler, what type of an tools that I'm using for that, and all these basic fundamental things that we are going to learn in this. And lastly, the various construction tools, compiler construction tools are also to be introduced. By using these construction tools, we are going to design some types of and compilers, design the process of compilation. And also we are defining, or also we are implementing how the process of compilation can be carried out. This is the most basic fundamental knowledge that we need to know. What is a compiler, what is an compiler, and how the process of compilation can be carried out. And the second content in our in this presentation is why should we study compilers. Why should we study compilers? What is the need of studying these compilers? And by learning these compilers, what we are going to do? By learning these compilers, what we are going to do? Why should we study the compilers? Here we're having some reasons. I'm defining some reasons. What is the need of studying the compilers, and the study of compilers reasons. The first reason is the study of compilers inspires us to develop new programming languages. For example, I want to develop some programming languages. I will go for choosing some types of an compilers. And by choosing some type of an compilers, I will develop some new programming languages. And after choosing the compilers, after choosing the compilers and developing some new programming languages, and that whatever the output that I am going to execute, that output need to satisfy the programmer. That output need to satisfy the programmer. And the second reason why should we study compiler is help to develop some query languages. We all know we're having some different types of programming languages like object programming language, visual programming language, and some query languages, and so on and so on. We're having some types of languages. And study of compilers help to develop all these types of programming languages. And what the third reason that we're having to study the compilers is whatever the compilation code that I compiled, I'm calling that code as some amount of code. How I am going to measure that code? how I am defining the performance of the code. So all these are all can be done by the compilers. The machine performance can be measured by amount of compiler code. And the next reason is here I'm having some abilities of the programming languages. Uh, Abilities of the programming languages can also be understood by learning the compilers. And up to now, I defined four reasons. Four reasons I defined up to now. And what the fifth reason is, see here, always we're calling the term like an error. And here we're defining an error with the terminology like an bug, bug, bug. Bug is an error. How we're going to rectify those bugs? How we're going to rectify those bugs? For example, ours is in 10 to 20 lines of code in a program. If you are getting or 3 to 4 bugs, it is very easy to rectify those. Easy, you can easily understand from where you are getting the error and you can easily rectify that. For example, my program, my code is in very complex code. Very complex code. It is very difficult to identify the errors in my complex code. Then how I am going to rectify the bugs? So for that purpose, what I am doing here is what in the compilers, what we are going to do is we are using some debugging tools. We are using some debugging tools. With those debugging tools, what we are going to do is we are rectifying the errors and updating the lines of code, update the program, and then again we'll do the compilation process, and then finally we can get the execution of the code. This is the process of compilation, where in every programming language the process of compilation is in such a way that, and for example, uh, I need to check it out whether my code is a validate code or not. Validate code or not. Here we're only talking about if our compilation code, whatever the code we implemented, is if the code is a very complex code. For that complex, what the tools that were for the complex, what the tools that we are going to utilize. If ours is an very uh, less amount of the code, less amount of the code in the sense, for example, we're having only 20 to below 50 lines of the code, it is very easy to rectify all this. It is very easy to know the validation, code validation. It is very easy to rectify the bugs in our code. All this will be happen for the if you have the less amount of the code. For example, if my code is very complex code, then all these are all not possible at every time. So for that purpose, what I am doing is what the compiler in compiler design, what we are going to do is where various programming tools such as debugging tools, source code validating tools, all these tools can be developed for convenience of the programmers. For convenience of the programmers, we are developing all these codes, all these validating tools. These are the most important tools for implementing the code. And the next, the last important reason why to study the compilers is, see, in compiler design we are using two most important tools here. One is an lex tool and one is an ACK, YACC. Lex is nothing but a lexical analyzer, lex. And YACC is an ACK, at another compiler compiles. Here we are calling these tools as an building tools of the compilers. And various system building tools such as lex and ACK, YACC ACK, can be developed by analytical study of the compilers. And these are the reasons that we're having why to study compilers. Why to study compilers. And the next one, the next content is our syllabus, describing about the course. See here, we're having a syllabus structured by JNTUK, where our syllabus consisting of overall 6 units. Overall 6 units. And in the first unit, unit number 1, what the course explores is principal algorithms and the data structures involved in the design of construction of compilers. See, in the unit number 1, there itself we are getting some fundamentals of the compilers, basic fundamentals of the compilers, learning fundamentals of the compilers, and knowing about what are the various phases of the compilers, and also knowing about how the process of compilation is carried out between those phases, and also knowing about what the subphases of the compilers are, and how the overall structure is going to be defined. All these things will be learned in unit number 1. And each and every phase here, it was structured in the syllabus as an unit wise. For example, we're having the first phase as an lexical analyzer, where it comes under an unit number 1. The second one is a syntax analyzer, unit number 2. And here we are having six phases. Each and every phase comes under an individual unit wise. And the syllabus was structured in such a manner. And we're going to learn each and every unit, where each unit is an separate phase in our process of compilation. And in each and every unit here, in unit number 1, there itself we are learning about the basic fundamental things of compilers and compiler design, and what the programming languages are, and the basics of the programming language, and what are the cousins of the compilers, and what are the translators, and how many translators are there, and what is the difference between the compiler and the interpreter. Most important concept here, compiler and the interpreter difference between. And then various phases of the compiler with an examples, and evaluation of the programming language. And then we'll start the phase number 1. Phase number 1, where it is a lexical analysis. And here in the phase number 1, how the internal functionality of lexical analysis can be done, and how we're going to implement it. Implementing by using some types of techniques. And what are all those will, whenever we are learning in detail about the unit number 1, then you will get what the lexical analysis is, and how the role of lexical analysis is, and how the internal functionality of the lexical analysis is, and finally the implementation of lexical analyzer. And then same as it is the second phase of the compiler, here structured as an unit number 2, where it is in syntax analysis. There also we first initially we need to see for each and every unit, the first concept is about the basic block diagram of syntax analysis. For example, lexical analysis, there itself we are seeing the basic block diagram of lexical analysis, then how the role of lexical analysis is to be done. And in syntax analysis, the basic block diagram of syntax analysis, and how the how the role of the parser is to be done. And again, the internal functionality of the syntax analysis, and what the parsing techniques that we are going to implement here, and in detail about the parsing techniques by constructing some programs. All these we are going to learn in unit number 2. And this third unit, the continuation of the syntax analysis is third unit. And in third unit again, there itself also we are going to learn about some parsing techniques. The continuation of the second unit is third unit, and parsing techniques, and there we are going to compare which one is powerful between the parsing techniques. And we all know what the ambiguous grammar is. Ambiguity, what the word that we already heard in flat formal language and automata theory. And here we are again in the third unit, we are talking about, we are going to learn about an syntax directed translations, and how the evaluation order schema is implemented in third unit. And while coming to the fourth unit, here we are having intermediate code generation is another phase, and is one of the phase in the phases of compiler, and how we are going to generate the intermediate code, and how the syntax tree is going to be implemented, and how we are going to structure the three address code in this unit. In intermediate code generation, how we are going to structure the three address code, and what are the types and declarations of the intermediate code, and the expressions, and type checking, type conversion, and data flow analysis, backpatching, all these concepts that we are going to learn in unit number 4. And what I'm going to say here is, in every unit we are in learning in detail about the individual phase of its functionality and its implementation by performing some techniques. By performing some techniques. And the next one is on unit number 5. See here, this is the in unit number 5 we are going to learn the most important subphase of the compiler, that is a symbol table manager. We all know what the data structure is, how we are implementing using the data structures, and how what is the definition of the data structure is also known to all of you. So here we are using symbol table manager, and we are also going to generate the code generation, where it is the last phase of the compiler, simple code generation. And by using some different types of an algorithms, we are going to generate the code. And finally we are getting the target code in a machine level language. Our target language is a machine level language. And the last unit is machine independent optimization. See here we're having two types of an optimizations, machine independent and machine dependent. Machine optimization is nothing but an improving or minimizing the code. And how we are going to minimize, is it directly we are going to minimize, or we are performing any types of and techniques, all those we are going to learn in detail in unit number 6. And what type of and principal sources of optimization techniques are there, and how many types of optimization techniques are there, everything, how the basic introduction about the data flow analysis, all these about the optimization, code optimization, we are going to learn in unit number 6. And these are the 6 units in our course compiler design. The syllabus was structured in 6 units. And finally this is the description of our course. And next, objectives of the course. And we all know in the basic introduction class, in the first class, we all talk, every faculty describe what the objective is, what the outcome is. And here I'm defining 4 objectives from the 6 units of our syllabus, where it was structured like that. 6 units. From the structured 6 units, I'm defining 4 course objectives. And you all know what the objective is. Objective is nothing but whatever the faculty is going to be delivered, and making you to understand, making the student to understand about the concepts that are included in the syllabus. And here my objective number 1 is, after learning, after delivering the content in unit number 1, unit number 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, here I am defining 4 objectives. And what my objective number 1 is, here I making you to understand of the what the grammar is, what the language is, and introducing various phases of designing and compiler. uh, the word that I use, the process of compilation, how the process of compilation is carried out. I am making you to understand the concepts of all this. And in the second objective, we are having some types of a language processors, and how the implementation of the language processors are carried out, and what type of a mechanism that we are implementing there to design the compilers. And I am making you to understand the concept of this design and implementation of language processors and its mechanisms. And the third objective is, see, as I already described in course, at the course description, I already defined in unit number 2 and unit number 3, there we are learning some parsing techniques. Most important parsing techniques, one is a top down parsing technique, the another one is a bottom up parsing techniques. These two are the most important concepts in those 2 units. And I am making you to understand or extend some knowledge about how to construct the parsers, by making you to learn how to, by making you to learn the different types of parsing techniques, and extending the knowledge about how to construct the parsers. And the last one, after learning about the symbol table, intermediate code generation, and finally the code optimization, and what type of a knowledge that the student is going to be enriched is, from the basic knowledge about the various phases of the compilers, and the student can understand how to use the techniques, how to perform the implementation of each and every technique, and what the code optimization techniques are to be, and how each and every optimization technique is going to be implemented, and finally how to generate the machine code by using different types of an algorithms in code generation, and how to store the data in a symbol table, storage of data in a symbol table. And all these are the 4 objectives that I define from the 6 units, where the syllabus, where the structure, from the structured syllabus I defined these 4 objectives. These are the 4 objectives that I'm making you to understand by delivering the course. And the last, the most important thing, ours is an outcome based learning system. And after delivering the subject, and what type of an outcome that the faculty is expecting from the student is, from the 4 objectives, these are the 4 different outcomes that the course instructor is expecting from the student, what type of an abilities or what type of a knowledge that the student is going to be gained from this course. First initially from the basic fundamentals of the compilers, the first thing is clear understanding of various phases of the compilers, gaining some knowledge about clear understanding of phases of compilers. And the next one is, the student can get an ability to think, get an ability to analysis. And how the student is going to think is how to construct the compilers, and while coming to the analysis, how to design, and what type of an abilities that the student get to design and to understand. And the student can get an ability to make the comparison between different types of various parsings and grammar transformation techniques. And here these two, thinking and analysis, comes under the cognitive skills, where there itself you can understand, there itself you can get an ability to design how to construct the parsers. For example, there itself you can make the comparison between different types of parsings and some types of grammar transformations. And the next, third outcome is professional skills. And here how you can achieve the professional skill, how you can get an ability uh, to show the professional skill. And after perceiving the construction of some intermediate codes, and performing some type checkings, and performing some type conversions, and designing some data flow analysis, and how the data is going to be flow, what type of an data flow backpatching is implemented, what type of an mechanisms there we are going to use, all these comes under an professional skills. And after learning the unit like an intermediate code generation, the student can get an ability to pursue the construction of intermediate code and perform type checkings. And finally the last outcome is about the utilization of the tools and about the attitude. Utilization of the tools in the sense, after knowing what type of construction tools that we're having in compiler design, knowing the construction tools, and knowing how they are going to be performed, knowing about each and every tool in detail, where utilization, where you're how we're going to utilize it. This is the type of an ability that the student can achieve, how to utilize an each and every tool where it was necessary, where it is necessary, where we're going to use the tools. And there itself will get the knowledge about the building tools, where I already said in why to study compilers, in that I define one reason, that here where various system building tools such as Lex and Yak I defined there. Lex and Yak, these are the two most important tools in the compiler design. And you can get an ability, we can get a knowledge about what the Lex tool is and how we're going to implement the tool, and what the Yak tool is, how we're going to implement the Yak tool. And by knowing the basic information about all those tools, then you can easily apply the knowledge wherever you need to uh, apply the tool, and design the compilers. And or if you want to use new tools, you can go for the new tools and new technologies used for designing the compilers. And these In the last unit, I make a note there, their code generation, where